You know, as we get older, it's easy to think that slowing down is just a normal part of life. But what if I told you that some of the things we dismiss as just aging could actually be warning signs of something much more serious? That's why today, we're going to talk about something that might not be the most pleasant topic, but it's one of the most important 5 sudden death triggers in the elderly that you must know to protect your health. Now, I know that sounds a little scary, but here's the thing: knowledge is power. When we understand what to look out for, we can take simple, practical steps to stay healthier, stronger, and safer. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. So, let's start with the first trigger: silent heart attacks. You've probably heard of heart attacks before, but did you know that in seniors, they don't always come with the classic Hollywood-style chest-clutching pain? Sometimes, the signs are so subtle that they're easy to miss. You might just feel a little more tired than usual, or maybe you have some mild indigestion that won't go away. Maybe your breath feels a little shorter after climbing the stairs, but you brush it off as just getting older. The problem is, when these small signs are ignored, they can lead to a major cardiac event without warning. That's why it's so important to listen to your body. If something feels off, even if it's just a little not right, don't hesitate to get it checked. A simple visit to your doctor could make all the difference. Now, let's talk about the second trigger: medication mismanagement. As we age, it's common to be on multiple prescriptions, and while these medications are meant to help us, they can sometimes interact in dangerous ways. Maybe you've been taking a certain pill for years, but your body processes it differently now. Or perhaps you accidentally double up on a dose because you forgot whether you took it that morning. These small mistakes can have serious consequences. Some medications can cause dangerous drops in blood pressure, irregular heart rhythms, or even internal bleeding if not taken correctly. That's why it's so important to stay organized. Use a pill organizer, set reminders on your phone, or ask a family member to help you keep track. And always talk to your doctor before stopping or changing any medication. Now, before we move on to the next triggers, I want you to take a moment to think: have you ever experienced any of these warning signs? Maybe you brushed them off at the time, but now you're realizing how important it is to pay attention. That's exactly why we're having this conversation. Because when we know better, we can do better. And speaking of doing better, let's talk about the third trigger: dehydration. This one might surprise you because it seems so simple, but dehydration is a silent and often overlooked danger for seniors. As we age, our sense of thirst diminishes, and our bodies don't hold onto water as well as they used to. You might not feel thirsty, but that doesn't mean your body doesn't need fluids. The scary part? Severe dehydration can lead to confusion, dizziness, and even organ failure if left unchecked. And in some cases, it can trigger a sudden health crisis. So, how do we prevent it? Keep a water bottle nearby and take small sips throughout the day, even if you don't feel thirsty. And if you struggle with frequent bathroom trips, try drinking most of your fluids earlier in the day. Now, we've covered 3 major triggers so far: silent heart attacks, medication mismanagement, and dehydration. But there are 2 more we need to discuss, and they're just as important. So, let's keep going, because your health is worth it. You know, when we talk about staying healthy as we age, it's not just about avoiding illness, it's about giving ourselves the best chance to enjoy life to the fullest. And that's why we need to talk about these sudden health risks openly and honestly. Now, we've already covered 3 big ones: silent heart attacks, medication mix-ups, and dehydration, but there are 2 more triggers we need to discuss. And the next one is something many people don't even realize is a danger until it's too late. Let's talk about falls. Now, I know what you might be thinking: a fall? Really? I've taken a tumble before and been just fine. But here's the thing: as we get older, falls aren't just about a bruised knee or a sore hip. They can be life-threatening. In fact, falls are the leading cause of injury-related deaths in seniors. And the scariest part? It's not always the fall itself that's deadly, it's what happens afterward. A broken hip can lead to surgery, which carries risks, and then recovery can be slow, leading to other complications like pneumonia or blood clots. So, how do we protect ourselves? First, take a good look at your home. Are there loose rugs, slippery floors, or poor lighting in hallways? Those are accidents waiting to happen. Consider adding grab bars in the bathroom, using non-slip mats, and keeping pathways clear. And don't be shy about using a cane or walker if it helps you stay steady. Your safety is more important than pride. Now, the last trigger we need to talk about is one that often flies under the radar: undiagnosed infections. As we age, our immune systems don't respond as quickly as they used to, which means infections like pneumonia or UTIs, urinary tract infections, might not show the usual fever or pain. Instead, you might just feel more confused, weak, or just not yourself. And if left untreated, these infections can quickly turn severe, even leading to sepsis, a life-threatening response to infection. The key here is to pay attention to small changes. If you suddenly feel more tired, disoriented, or just off, don't dismiss it as just getting older. Get checked out. A simple urine test or blood work can catch an infection early before it becomes a crisis. Now, we've covered all 5 triggers: silent heart attacks, medication mistakes, dehydration, falls, and hidden infections. But here's the good news: every single one of these risks can be managed with awareness and small, practical steps. You don't have to live in fear, you just have to be proactive. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about next: how to put all this knowledge into action so you can stay stronger, healthier, and safer for years to come. Because your health isn't just about avoiding danger, it's about living well. So, let's keep going. You know, when it comes to our health, especially as we get a little older, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking, well, if something was really wrong, I'd know about it. But as we've seen, some of the biggest dangers don't come with flashing warning signs, they creep up quietly. That's why being informed is so powerful. Now, we've already talked about 5 major sudden health risks: silent heart attacks, medication mix-ups, dehydration, falls, and hidden infections. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with something just as important: hope. Because here's the truth: knowing about these risks isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to empower you. Every single one of these triggers can be managed, and often prevented, with simple habits and a little awareness. So let's talk about how to put this knowledge into action in your daily life. First, listen to your body like it's your oldest friend. That little voice that says, I don't feel quite right today. That's not just aging, it's valuable information. Maybe it's time to check in with your doctor, adjust a medication, or just slow down and rest. You've spent decades trusting your instincts in other parts of life. Why stop now when it comes to your health? Second, make your home your safe haven. We talked about falls earlier, but this goes beyond just removing throw rugs. It's about creating an environment where you can thrive. Better lighting, comfortable shoes with good support, keeping frequently used items within easy reach, these small changes add up to big protection. And if you need to use a cane or walker, think of it like wearing glasses. It's not a limitation, it's a tool that helps you stay independent longer. Third, build your safety net. That might mean setting up a system with a family member to check in regularly, or finding a reliable pharmacy that helps manage your medications. Maybe it's making friends with your neighbors so someone's always nearby if you need help. We weren't meant to navigate aging alone, and asking for support isn't a weakness, it's wisdom. Now, I know change can feel overwhelming, especially when we've had our routines for decades. But here's what I want you to remember: you don't have to do everything at once. Start with one small thing today. Maybe it's filling up a water bottle and keeping it by your favorite chair. Or calling your doctor about that little symptom you've been ignoring. Small steps lead to big changes. As we wrap up, I want you to take a moment and think about all the life you've lived, all the challenges you've already overcome, all the wisdom you've gained. Your health is your greatest gift, and you're already taking such an important step by learning how to protect it. So here's my challenge to you: pick one thing from this video that resonated with you and put it into practice this week. Then, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. What changes are you making? What questions do you still have? Because this isn't just my conversation, it's ours. And if you found this helpful, do me a favor, hit that like button, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. We create videos like this because we believe your golden years should be just that, golden. Full of life, laughter, and good health. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for watching. Remember, getting older isn't about counting years, it's about making those years count. Here's to your health, your happiness, and many more beautiful chapters ahead. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.